Guys, this is Rachel with Cypress Textiles, and today we're going to make the apple blossom motif from the 2024 VVCAL. I'm going to start with a slip knot and chain 3 and slip stitch in the third chain from the hook to make my ring. And then in my center ring, I'm going to make a beginning 2 treble cluster. So I'm going to go straight into the middle with a single crochet and then chain 2 and then make a treble crochet. And those few stitches there are going to make my first 2 treble cluster. Then I will chain 2 and then make a regular 2 treble cluster. Like this, yarn over twice, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and draw the yarn through 2 loops on the hook twice. All right, and I've done that 2 times, so I have 3 loops on my hook. Draw the yarn through all 3 loops to close my 2 treble cluster. Chain 2 and 2 treble cluster until I have 12 2 treble clusters and 12 chain 2 spaces. So I have 12 2 treble clusters here, and now I'm going to make a single crochet in this first chain space and then chain 3, and now in my next chain space I'm going to make popcorn, chain 3, popcorn. So I'm going to make 4 double crochet all in the same chain space and release my loop. Insert my hook front to back through the first double crochet, grab my loop and pull it to the front to close the popcorn. Now chain 3 and another popcorn in the same chain space. Okay, and then chain 3 and single crochet in the next chain space. All right, so that's how it's going to look. You're gonna have 6 of these little 2 popcorn sets all the way around. All right, so my round is complete there, and I've joined with a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and now I'm just going to slip stitch in these chains until I'm up to the top here. I'm gonna go all the way to where I can work into this next chain space. So now from this point, I can work into that chain space, and I'm gonna make a beginning 2DC cluster. So I'm just going to go straight into a single crochet, chain 1, and then a double crochet, and those 2 things together, the beginning DC and the DC, are going to make your first 2 DC cluster. And now I'm going to chain 2 and make a regular 2 DC cluster in the same chain space. All right, and chain 2, 2 DC cluster in the same chain space again, and chain 2, 1 more 2DC cluster in that chain space, and then I'm going to chain 5. And I just want to show you how that little corner is going to look. So here's how that looks there with these 4 2DC clusters, including this beginning one here. And when I chain 5, I'm going to skip over everything here and just go into this chain space in between these 2 popcorns with a 2DC cluster, chain 2, 3 times in the same chain space, and then 2DC cluster, chain 2 again, and chain 5. So there's going to be 4 2DC clusters in the corner with your 3 chain 2 spaces and a chain 5 after. All right, so then just keep working around. Here's how that round looks when it's finished. And now we're going to work on the second to last round. So we're going to make a puff stitch in each of these chain spaces, these 3 chain 2 spaces with chain 2 in between. So I'm just going to go straight into my next chain space with a puff stitch. And I'm going to do 4 passes like this. Pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and 1 more. So there's 4 passes there. Draw the yarn through all the loops on your hook to close your popcorn and chain 2. All right, next. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and chain 2, and 1 more puff stitch here. All right, and then chain 2, and now I'm going to make double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1 in this chain 5 space. The reason I'm chaining 1 after and not chaining 2 like I did before the chain space, before the double crochet I chained 2, but after it I'm only chaining 1, and that's because when you go into this next chain space with a puff stitch, it makes something that looks like a chain, and I'll show you. All right, so that little piece right there looks like a chain, and if you chain 2 after, this space is going to be bigger than this space here. So chain 2. All right, so see how they look pretty even right now. If you were, it even looks a little bigger, to be honest, but if you chained 2 right there instead of 1, it would look even larger. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going with my puff stitch here, and then I'm going to show you how everything looks so you can just see where all the stitches go in the repeat, and just keep going all the way around. All right, carefully pull that yarn through and chain 2, and then now we're at our double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, all in that chain space. Okay, and I'm going to go into another puff stitch so you can just see, and then I'll back up and show you. Chain 2. All right, so here's how it looks. These are going to be the corners, these right here. So this was the corner looking thing before, but actually it's going to be, this is the corners, the chain 1 space in between the 2 doubles. All right, so just keep going all the way around until you're finished. My second to last round is done here, and now I'm just going to show you where to put the single crochet stitches for the final round. You can see I've joined with a slip stitch in my puff stitch here, and I'm ready to start in my next chain space with some single crochet stitches. So in my next chain space, I'm going to make 2 single crochet, and then 1 single crochet in the puff stitch, and then 2 single crochet in the next chain space, 1 single crochet in the puff stitch. All right, and then 2 single crochet in the next chain space. And now we're at our corner where I'm just going to skip this double crochet and make 3 single crochet in the corner. Okay, so it's going to be 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's 11 stitches total. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, and 2 in the final chain space here, and then again skip the double and work 3 single crochet in the corner chain space. Okay, so that's how the side is going to look there. You're going to have 84 stitches all the way around when you're done, and here is how your motif is going to look. Okay, just like that. All right, so this has been the Apple Blossom motif from the 2024 VVCAL, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Super cute motif. I love this one. See you in the next one.